Redstone dust. How does it work? Yo, what's going on, guys? Core here. Welcome back to another episode, or the first episode, of Core's Redstone Guide. I hope you're all having a wonderful day, and today we're going to be talking about how Redstone works. Now, this is the start of the series. I did mention this a good couple of months ago at this point, that I will be doing this series, and the aim is to teach you all of the ways of every single redstone component and every single redstone contraption that you can make, whether it is in Bedrock Edition or Java Edition. So stay tuned and you will be a redstone pro. So we will start off today by talking about redstone dust. Now, of course, redstone dust is a conductor, meaning that in Java Edition, if you power it, it will conduct a signal and power anything that is attached to it. You can see if I flick this lever, that piston over there will retract. When it is powered, it will power this component, and when it is unpowered, it will unpower it. Note that anything actually running next to it like this won't get powered. However, you can see here on Bedrock Edition, if you have redstone that is running next to a component, it will actually manipulate and it will power what is also adjacent to the redstone. Back on Java Edition here, you can see that this is not the case. It actually ignores it because there is no manipulation of the redstone here. However, if we do this and directly power the piston like so, then you can see it does indeed accept that, and it does extend. Now, another thing you can do is you can power blocks, and now this block is actually powered, meaning that anything that is touching this block will also get powered, as you can see. And if I run it over, then you can see this also happens. So in this example here at the start, you can see the blocks that the redstone is in top of, they are actually getting powered. So you can see everything under here is also getting powered because it is on the block. And yes, this works exactly the same in Bedrock Edition. Now, the only exception, as far as I'm concerned, as to what can get powered next to it in Java is the target block. So you can do something like this, and then you can also have something like this, or a piston, and the target block manipulates the redstone line to go directly into it, and now this block is getting powered. You can see this also behaves the same on Bedrock Edition, but it doesn't really matter. You may as well just do the same thing because, of course, the redstone does manipulate into every redstone component on this version. There are, of course, in the game a couple of exceptions of blocks that don't allow power to run through them. These are known as transparent blocks. Now, this is just a way of the game. There's no real way to explain this. However, I will leave a link in the description to the wiki page which will list a bunch of examples of transparent blocks. Now, these behave in very strange ways, but they do in fact become useful in some redstone contraptions. But the last thing about redstone before we move on is the two states of redstone dust on Java Edition. If redstone is placed as a singular block on its own, then when you right click it will go between a redstone dot and a redstone cross. Now this can be useful because you can then power blocks that are adjacent to this because they are running into them. However, if it's on this mode, then that won't happen. A good example of this is this little thing over here. You can see this lever is powering the block, which powers this redstone underneath. Now, when the redstone is in this state, it isn't actually powering the blocks. However, once it's in that cross formation, the redstone signal will be transmitted to the blocks adjacent to it. And of course, that does include this one. However, I removed it for this demonstration. Do you want to quickly point out on Bedrock Edition, this isn't actually the case. If you can see, or maybe hear, that I am spamming right click right now and nothing is happening to this. So it is always just in the default position of a cross on Bedrock Edition. And you can see it does behave the same as the cross on Java Edition. Now that just about covers it in terms of redstone and its wacky behaviors. However, there's something you need to know about redstone as a bit of a fundamental. So redstone over time will decay, and you will see the longer that I make this wire, the dimmer that this redstone gets. And you can especially see that if we put some lamps next to it. Now you can see that up to about 15 blocks away, redstone is getting powered. Now the way this works in this case is the lever will provide this first redstone with a signal strength of 15. And if we open up the F3 screen here, you can see that right here. Now, as we move across, you will see the power element of each of these redstone dust blocks actually decreases as we go a block away each time, to the point where it will go down to power 1, and then power 0, and after that, the power is no longer there. Now, there are certain blocks in the game that will give different power levels. Buttons and levers will all give a signal strength of 15. A stone button actually does give a shorter pulse than a wooden button. And this is getting a bit complex for this video, but things like a cake will give a different signal strength based on how much of it has been eaten, to the point where it will just go down by 2 every single time until it is all gone. There is a way that you can revitalize a redstone line that has died, and that is with a redstone repeater, which will refresh the signal strength. You can see this goes down to a power level of 2 here. However, after the redstone repeater, this goes right back up to 15. This video is focusing only on redstone dust, but my next one will be on redstone repeaters, so do stay tuned for that. But peeps, that is going to be it for today, because the redstone dust is actually very simple. There's a lot to talk about with it, but it's not enough to cover like a full 10-minute video. This one's only very short, as you can see. So if you did find this useful and do look forward to some future tutorials, then do be sure to hit the like button. That way I know that you guys want to see more of this. And do be sure to share this with your friends, because everyone in the world needs to be exposed to how useful redstone is. Anyway, thank you for the support, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.